See, I believe what has been missing in America and why our government has gone down this path is because the prophetic voice of the church has grown silent. Too many want to fit in and not offend and become politically correct. I want to be biblically correct. You know, I hear this question all the time. Well, Tony, aren't you afraid that you're on the wrong side of history? I'm more concerned about being on the wrong side of the one who's going to write the final chapter of history. And I know every time pastors or churches step forward, someone says, well, you've crossed the line. You've crossed that line of separation of church and state. Well, this threat of crossing the so-called line of separation of church and state in America today is not because the church is meddling in the business of government. It's because increasingly the government is meddling in the business of the church. In the last 50 years, government has increasingly usurped the voice of the church on issues that are inherently religious, declaring matters of biblical morality, private concerns, or personal rights to be decided by the courts. Courts, and even in some cases legislatures, have transformed the sacred into the secular and then told pastors and churches it's off limits to you. Such a transformation reduces matters of morality and transcendent truth into political policies that can then be changed or disregarded at will by government leaders, as we witnessed this past Friday. You and I are called to be those men and women of valor who will confront those that have turned the sacred into the secular, because the hearts of our leaders have become proud and lifted up. I cannot see a more clear visual representation of where our nation stands than on Friday morning. Our courts turned the sacred into the secular, and that night, the president bathing the White House in the colors of pride. God have mercy on America. It's time for the men of valor to stand and say, you have crossed the line.